To continue, one user named Spock, and thank you all you people with these dangerous ideas for at least being reasonable in the specific words you're choosing. I appreciate that. And to return the favor, that's why I'm not calling you racists and genocides and the rest. For all I know, you would really be a very peaceful person if you could just be in your pure white or pure Hispanic or whatever state. But he says that he's dealing with aggregates and averages, not individuals, and that is the problem. There's a guy in my comments called individual autonomy, and he does not understand why I consider it a fundamental individual right to have free motion. I mean, it is more fundamental that I can go wherever I want and look for food than it is that I be provided with it. But anyway, I'm dealing with aggregates and averages, not individuals. Well, that's your problem. I'm dealing with individuals. You know, my good relationships with Muslims and Christians and various kinds of people from all sorts of cultures and my interest in seeking that out, it's not merely anecdotal, right? Because it's about individuals. So I know that there can be an individual connection there. And if somebody else is having trouble with that individual connection, I don't have to say, oh, well, there's 50 million of them and only, a million of us, so they're right. No, you just need to learn what we've learned, what we million have learned, how to benefit from this. You're saying this is a big, scary danger, and yet I know for a fact you can benefit from the positives and filter out the negatives, and there's ways to do that, and you're not interested. But you're the ones, oh, they're trying to kill me. Well, you have more reason than me, who's not paranoid about that, to learn these things, don't you? To overcome them, because the osmosis is not going to be reversed. You talk about statistical sociology shows that the main thing to show association is race. Well, hello, we've only had global travel for a very short time, and it's still so expensive that it's far from easy to accomplish economically. If you have the money, sure, it's easy to accomplish. You could be on the other side of the world tomorrow if you've already got your passport. I'm dealing with individual liberty and the fact that nobody's going to tell me who to associate with, what to prefer. I prefer having multiple cultural histories to check out, to appreciate, to learn from, to adopt if I so choose. I like choice. And a guy named individual autonomy ought to like choice. Another error is I used an example of the Scots and the Brits being different cultures. And what this really highlights is how, but they're the same race. What are you talking about? Hey, my video is on culture, not on race. You guys want to mix race and culture. No. Any single race has multiple cultures to it. Like in Britain, inbred royalty. Why'd they do that? Because it was better to isolate their culture and become hemophiliacs than it was to integrate with the poor. Do you support that? That sounds like a good idea. Do you support the idea that the diversity in genders was a bad idea evolutionarily? It will fail. Who knows how it made it this far? Because obviously cloning is better because you want to be with people just like you. A man shouldn't want to be with a woman. A man should want to be with the man because they're alike. A bolt should not want to connect with a screw, or a nut rather. You should fasten things with 2 bolts. It's not about race. It's about culture. If it's about race, then you're trying to co-opt an argument about culture. You cannot be for individual autonomy, not even if your handle is individual autonomy, and be pro-border. That is incoherent. And I want to end with something I already said, which is that the problems of urban crime, sometimes they do have to do with these subcultures, I would say from the segregation, but primarily there really shouldn't be much confusion about the fact that these are due to economics and city planning. Economics and city planning. And even so, those problems are much less costly than the cost of war. You can either have a neighborhood where there's some problems going at night or maybe any time of day and try to solve that problem, or you can ship your children off by the millions to die in a war that you will never solve and simply have again and again and again. You have been enslaved already. If you want to say, oh, well, I'm more likely to get accosted by a Hispanic, it's just statistical. Well, you're more likely to be enslaved by someone of European descent. And you don't think so? That's just because they enslaved you so long ago that now you're a willing slave. They're on your side because, after all, they have your same skin color. Well, what if I want to go with my hair color? What if I want to associate my genes with the people that share my hair color? No, it's got to be skin. The ignorance and semi-intelligent, that's the disturbing thing, is that there's like almost logic and then just a few key placed fallacies, leading people that obviously have the intellect to face the reality of the facts presented to them. And it's like the thing about being an idiot and being well educated. People think those are separate. No, the better educated you are and the smarter you are, the bigger idiot it is possible for you to be. Like the Nazis. Because you could be very clever, because everybody ultimately is driven by their emotional needs and their emotional state. And if you're really smart, then you can come up with really smart explanations for why your emotions behave the way they do. And if those emotions behave stupidly, then you will be a really, really smart idiot. The final thing is simply that I like individual liberty. I like access to cultures. I never imagined wanting to spend the time, even if I had the resources, to fly around the world constantly. So I would rather have cultures, multiple cultures, represented in cosmopolitan urban environments. And that's my preference. If you really want to argue I should think something else, you're trying to argue my preferences should be different. And I don't see how you're ever going to succeed at that argument. And if you don't mind that I want to associate this way, then leave our multicultural cities alone. And I will help vote for people that will cut out little areas of land for you to go and self-select. But that's a little disingenuous, because if you abuse the people that immigrate there from another culture based on their race or their cultural practices, I'll be on their side. If you close off your borders, well, what about the people that are newly born in there that want that? Are they going to get ejected for that reason? I'll be on their side. In other words, your idea is unworkable. But if you go remotely enough, I won't attack you just because you have a little homogeneous community, okay? But don't tell me who to associate with. Don't tell me whether to prefer the multiculturalism of the East Bay or San Francisco in California or not. That's just not your place. You don't get to tell me that, and I'm not going to let you tell me that.